Here am I in Belgium, in the edge of the town of Ville-sur-Seine for Valour, Canada. Just behind me is actually the city of Mons, famous for one reason. Initially, it's because that's where the British Army first encounters the oncoming Germans, von Kluck's 6th Army. On the 23rd of August 1914, there's a battle either side of the canal. Germans from this side, our soldiers on the other side. The battle forces the British Army to retreat, and the Great War, at least for Britain and the Empire, has begun. But over 4 years later, this area becomes famous for another reason. Because having broken the ability of the German army to resist, in the last 100 days of the Great War, from August 1918 onwards, the Allies are advancing, and by complete coincidence, on the 11th of November, Allied soldiers are here on this very spot. But this time, they're not Brits, they are Canadians. And on that side of the canal, on the night before the 11th, when the Armistice was about to come into effect, a unit of the 2nd Canadian Division were waiting for that 11 o'clock deadline. But the feeling was that the Germans could still be very, very effective, and it made sense to send soldiers across a footbridge, roughly where this bridge is now, to have a look and see what the Germans are doing. And 5 men are sent over here as a patrol. One of those soldiers is George Lawrence Price. Born in Nova Scotia in 1892, he moves to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan for work, and he's not a volunteer. He's actually a conscript of October 1917. He now finds himself one of 5 men basically playing a cat and mouse game with German defenders on this side of the canal. They are able to outflank a machine gun roughly where we are now, and the machine gun withdraws, so they've been effective. And just a few minutes before 11 o'clock, before the armistice comes into effect, he actually stepped out of a front door of a house, roughly where we are now. The house was demolished. As he stepped out, a German soldier fired a single shot, hitting George in the left breast. He was hit somewhere near his heart. A Belgian nurse is able to get to him, to pull him back inside, and no doubt unit film like this was being worn. Inside it is a bandage. They probably used the bandage to staunch the bleeding. But despite the medical effort, despite the fact that the armistice is coming into effect in a few minutes, he dies of his wounds at exactly 10:58 on the morning of the 11th of November 1918. 2 minutes later, the armistice comes into effect. George Lawrence Price is the last Canadian to be killed in action in the Great War.